'Tis the morning after the night before, and I can safely say I don't feel as pretty as I normally do. So there was a tribute band act on last night for the cause, you know, the Irish band. So we were like, yeah, okay. And then once they'd finished, it was like a fire alarm had gone off because everyone just dispersed everywhere. So the DJ, he was like, oh, I'm not going to carry on. So we went to the piano bar, and there was a local lady singing, and she was incredible. All this music, everyone was up and dancing and cheering and clapping, waving their hands. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And she's on again, I think once a week. I can't remember her name, I don't know. So we listened to her, and then the party kind of just carried on. So a little bit sore this morning, but this morning, doink, 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 doing the axe throwing, meant to start in about 5 minutes time. Could be interesting. There's no way I'm going to hit a target because there is 3 of them and I can see about 8 of them. And then this afternoon, who knows what we're going to do, where we're going to go, what we will see. So come with us today on day 3 of our little adventure here in HAYLING Island. Well, we know who's won. Oh, it fell out. Fucking thing.
I love that. Pretty good.
Then I'll throw
One for luck.
add all 9 and throw the last one straight in the bullseye.
Oh! Yes! Yes! Oh, but one did fall out, so I did 5.
4.5.
So this is the first one. The blade's meant to go in. It's finally got none in. And our new chap got the handles in. Yeah! He's done it again. This is harder than you think. They're not heavy, but we've nearly killed a couple of pigeons. There's like a patio window nearly gone out. Keith, or Boris Becker, no, Venus. Venus keeps getting the wrong side of it stuck in the wood. We don't know how. Savannah's just chipping bits off, and I am clearly a lumberjack.
No, I don't care.
Oh, cheers, Venus. Right then. Oh.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Ah!
I don't even know what I'm shouting. Okay, same again. They're all gonna hit the board this time. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Ah!
We've all hit it, but it bounced off. Yeah, you're all good. So straight down the middle, deep breath in and lean forward. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay. That was alright. I feel good.
So after our little Viking axe throwing this morning, we actually were thinking, what should we do? Like, where can we go? And I know Savannah hadn't ever been to this place. So I said, come on. So we're now at South Sea. And here we're about to board the world's only scheduled hovercraft service. So we're going to go from South Sea over to ride on the Isle of Wight. From the Isle of Wight, we're then going to catch a train, a little dotty train down to a place called Shanklin. And I used to live in Shanklin, and Savannah's never been on a hovercraft, never been to Shanklin, never been on the train that takes you to Shanklin for sure. And we're going to have a little adventure around there. And these hovercrafts are incredible. Well, hovercrafts full stop are incredible. They land on water and sea. No, they don't land on water, Steve. They land on the land and they sail, shall we say, on the sea, but they actually hover on the sea. They fill up with air and then they bounce across the water. They don't have any resistance, not like a ship does, which has the water resistance, which pushes against the boat at the bow. However, this bounces across each of the waves. It only takes 10 minutes. It costs £26 and so many pence each if you travel after 1 p.m. and return, I think it was by 8 p.m. So £26 each to do that. And we'll spend the day down in Shanklin, have a little look around, and I'll show you where I used to live.
Which one are we having? How do I choose which one I want?
And when you have nothing else to do while you're waiting for the hovercraft, it's gonna be the arcade on the 2p machines. So close, so close. Hate these machines. Can be inside of here.
Oh.
Just what I always wanted. Cost me a quid. Hey.
Oh, they're
Come
so
on then, little
cute.
darlings. Have some food. Indians. There we go. Come on. And as it's Savannah's first time on the hovercraft ever, anywhere in the world, a lovely lady, she gave us both a certificate. Isn't that so sweet? So sweet of her, it's so lovely. Yes, the hovercraft started in 1965 and is still running today in 2025.
You will see that your life jacket is stowed under your seat. Instructions on how to put on your life jacket are shown on the safety notice in 3 easy steps. Thank you for listening to this safety visit. If you have any questions, please ask a member of the team. We wish you a pleasant journey and find a lesson. Thank you.
A bit bouncy on this one today. She's not happy, girl. This is not me moving my phone, this is us bouncing around. So what Savannah found out earlier was that the hovercraft company, they actually had 3 of these. So
Simple ride, simple smooth ride, absolutely not. That was
they had 3 of these, and they actually sold 2 of them to a company in Hong Kong, my favourite place, and they shipped 2 of them out to Hong Kong. So there's actually 2 companies now in the world which have scheduled services for passengers to use. So this company has just this one, so if it pops, well, we're good. And 2 in Hong Kong, so if I ever get to go back to Hong Kong, which I've been over 70 times to Hong Kong, I've even got it tattooed on my back. I'll try and find the one in Hong Kong as well. It probably goes across the harbour. We're almost arrived. The whole journey on the hovercraft only takes 10 minutes in each direction, and then when we land, we're actually in Ryde itself. If you were to catch the ferry across, which is, maybe see it over in the water over there, that stops at Ryde Pier. However, this one stops at Ryde itself, so if you just wanted to go to Ryde for the day, use this. But we're going to catch the train down to Shanklin if she doesn't be sick.
I'm looking at how much we're wobbling side to side.
When we arrived at Ryde, we actually found out that the trains had been cancelled because of engineering work. So we thought, what can we do? We were told that we'd have to get a bus down to Shanklin. I thought, surely not. By luck, we went in and asked, and they just changed their mind and fixed the problem and reopened the track. Once upon a time, the Isle of Wight Railway was an old, battered looking London Underground train, and it was so old that now they just can't get the parts for it anymore. So they actually upgraded. This is a huge upgrade to this style train, but this train is actually from the 80s as well. So we've jumped on this train. We're going to make our way to Shanklin now. 2 adult returns from Ryde to Shanklin was just over £8, so say £4 something per person for a day return. If you wanted to go to the Chine or the Old Town, it is about a 15-minute walk, but when you get there, it is striking and beautiful in the Chine, where we're going to be going today. Welcome to Shanklin Chine. As we were coming in, I remembered the last time I was here, I was so small that I was still holding my mum's hand. That's how many years ago I've been. It must be 35 years, if not more. So, Shanklin Chine, this waterfall, it starts about 1 mile away. It's a natural spring. It comes up through the earth near the Sandown Downs or Shanklin Downs, makes its way here, and over 10,000 years, it's carved its way through this soft sandstone and formed this huge gully, which is now a natural rainforest. Over millions of people have been here to walk through the Chine. It is, just bringing back so many happy memories, like seeing this waterfall, which is 49 foot high, and it's the tallest waterfall on the whole of the Isle of Wight, which doesn't look that impressive, but the Isle of Wight is so small, and to think that it's been grinding and grinding the sandstone for all of these thousands of years. But there is a myth about what this Chine actually is, and we'll talk about that as we make our way through. We all do know that it was the little river cutting through the sandstone that made this beautiful Chine. There's also 21 of these dotted around the Isle of Wight, and Chine actually means cutting through sandstone, and that word comes from the Saxon era, and it's only used here in the Isle of Wight and down in Devon. I was sat right there, and because I got my stick and all that, I nearly fell down in that fucking river. And while you are walking around the Chine, be very careful in case you bump into a dinosaur or you find a dinosaur's egg. Okay, we know it's not real, but if there's any kids watching, I love it. It's very close in here, and it does remind me of being in Jurassic Park, and you have the dinosaurs. There's some more eggs potted around. But if we look down at the floor here, it does just look like your average everyday pipe. Now this pipe has been seen as one of the engineering marvels of the 20th century, because this pipe starts all the way up in Shanklin Old Town where the waterfall was. It comes all the way down here. It goes down to the beach, because we're just near the beach here. It goes along Shanklin Esplanade, I can't say that word, I do apologise. And from there's a pipe, and it ran all under the ocean on the bed, and it pumped fuel all the way to Normandy in France to assist in fueling systems and machines, shall we say, to help win the Second World War. Now, I don't know how long that is, maybe 30-40 miles, but imagine back then they didn't have the engineering tools that we have nowadays, and we can't build anything. Well, maybe because the health and safety is too nowadays, but all the way here, all the way to Normandy, it really is a feat of engineering. I want to tell you now about that legend. So this is the English Channel. Right off in the distance you'll see the white cliffs of the Isle of Wight. Behind us is the Chine. Now there is a mythical creature that only few have spoken about, which came roaring up through the English Channel, and it was coiling around, spits blood from its mouth, and it made its way up the Chine, and the Chine is its hidden lair, or its den, or its home. Supposedly you can hear it at night, but this is where that mythical sea monster actually lives, and that sea creature was also believed to help the troops to win in World War II. You'll have to come and find out. I know it may seem a little strange to think, why are there all these dinosaurs in the Chine? Like, oh, that's Jeffrey, by the way, and he's guarding an egg. So all around the Isle of Wight, especially on this side of the island where we are now, like Shanklin and Sandown for example, the cliffs are really prone to erosion, especially after frost or heavy rains, and they keep collapsing, and the amount of homes what have been destroyed because of these landslides and collapsing of the cliffs. And as these have been collapsing, more and more dinosaur bones have actually been discovered on the Isle of Wight, and there is one beach, I can't remember which one it is. I'll have a Google now and put it across the screen of what that beach is called, and it's famous for finding dinosaur bones and fossils, excuse me. And my cousin Kerry, she found a fossilized dinosaur's footprint. I was so excited to see it, and I wish I could have got it home and kept it in my garden, because it's absolutely amazing. So if I can find that, I'll put it on the screen. So I guess that's why they're putting all these dinosaurs around here, because there's so many fossils of the dinosaurs. found around here. I found some history. You know I love history. So the thatch building there, that is the fisherman's cottage, which is part of the fisherman's pub. If you're a visitor, you can go along the beach, walk along the beach to get to it. You don't have to come through the Chine. But in 1970, this was removed from that cottage and brought here. What it is, this is an original brine bath, which was from the 19th century, and the brine water was collected from down into the Chine. It was then heated up in this like big copper bowl with a fire underneath, and then you would bathe in it, and it's supposed to have magical powers, and it's meant to be good for you. So 1970 they moved it here to put it on display, and this is the only one remaining listed brine bath in the whole of Great Britain. Now this is Jurassic. Look at the size of my hand. And they're growing all the way up here, and look how long their stalks are and how thick they're, like tree trunks growing down there. I cannot pronounce the Latin name. Please do not even think that I'm going to attempt to, because there'll be lots of outtakes. And this is, its nickname is the giant rhubarb plant, and each stalk or stem can grow 3 meters high. It is an illegal plant to sell or buy in Britain because it is such an invasive species. There is a broken one here. Look, look how it's like solid. It is like wood. And imagine that if you've got damp, muddy conditions, which they love, this will just thrive and take over. But it's fantastic. It really does remind me of the Jurassic era, and this species was growing here 30 odd years ago when I was a little boy. And well, short but brief, but I do hope that you've enjoyed our little day axe throwing this morning, being like Vikings. really, I feel really uneasy. I know it's not real. Sorry. Just how I want it. It's looking at me. I hope you've enjoyed our little day today. Hasn't been as full on and as active as it has been other days, but we are getting exhausted, lack of sleep, because like my back and my hip as per usual, blah blah. I'm sorry if I keep going on about it, but coming down here to Shanklin has brought back some absolute wonderful memories for me from as a little boy, of my parents holding my mum and dad's hand coming through this magnificent Chine and seeing those plants which I've seen before, and now to be back at Shanklin Beach, which I've seen when I was a little boy, to when I used to live here, to now coming back as a tourist, shall we say. It's been wonderful, and like for my mental health, it's really lifted me up to get out of the house, walk through this Chine with the fauna and whatever the other word is, and just still looking at me. I've absolutely loved it. So we're now going to head back to the train station. We're getting a taxi back because it's all the way uphill and I can't do it. And then we're going to get back on the train. We're then going to go to Hobbycraft. We're not going to Hobbycraft. Told you I'm tired. We're going on the hovercraft. On the hovercraft. Get back over to HAYLING Island. Have a well-deserved roast dinner and an early night. And then tomorrow morning, don't know what we'll do. And then we're going to be driving home. So tomorrow afternoon, I could be giving you my final thought, or I could be doing something else. So for me, it's goodbye from Shanklin, and I know it's not real. I was trying to save it to the end, and T-Rex. Look, he looks so real. So for me and Shanklin and T-Rex in the Chine. Love you, bye. And remember, everyone, the world is not in your books or your maps. It's out there. You just got to find it. Love you, bye.